Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the VST Tylers Tractors Limited 4Q FY22 post-result conference call hosted by Batlivala and Karani Securities India Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Annamalai Jairaj from Batlivala and Karani Securities India Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rodisha. Welcome to VST Tylers Tractors Limited 4Q and FY22 post-result conference call. From VST Tylers Tractors Limited management, we have with us today Mr. V.T. Ravindra, Managing Director, Mr. Anthony Sarkara, Chief Executive Officer, and Mr. Pankaj Kemka, Chief Financial Officer. I will now hand over the call to the management for the opening remarks to be followed by question and answer session. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everyone, and we're very happy to share with all of you the results for the last financial year, FY22, and the quarter 4 results. I will start with the financial figures for the year. For the FY22, the revenue has been 853.86 crores, which is a growth of 11.73% over the previous year. The overall EBITDA is at 158.27 crores, which is 17.82% compared to 17.01% previous year, which is a growth of 14.82% over the previous year. So operational EBITDA is at 124.18 crore, which is 14.54% compared to previous year 12.01%, which is a growth of 35.33%. PBT is at 132.18 crore, which is a growth of 10.87%, and PAT is at 99.31 crore, which is a growth of 9.41% over the previous year. These are the annual financial numbers. I will go to the quarterly Q4 FY22 numbers. The revenue was 218.36 crore, which is a 12.13% increase over the previous year. Overall EBITDA at 36.58 crore, which is a 65.67% increase over the previous year. Operational EBITDA is at 30.15 crore, which is 285.07% over previous year. PBT at 29.16 crore, which is 66.62% over the previous year. And PAT at 22.10 crore, which is 70.91% over the previous year. Now coming to the numbers of products, we have done 31,776 ticklers, of which 31,488 is domestic and about 288 is export. This is compared to previous year 27,318. And in tractors, we have done 7,991 tractors against previous year of 8,835. The quarterly numbers on power tiller. In Q4, we have done 9,282 power tillers against previous year 7,474. And tractors, we have done 1,575 against previous year of 1,885. So these are the brief numbers of the quarter as well as the year in terms of revenue as well as the volume. I would like to open now for questions.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Mukesh Saraf from Spark Capital. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity. My first question is on the tractor volumes, sir. So we've seen the tractor volumes for this year decline about 10%. And if I look at the industry volumes, at least in the less than 30 HP, industry volumes have actually grown about 8%. So just want to understand, number one, I mean, what is the reason why we are losing some market share there? And secondly, what's our plan with respect to some of these new launches, and how are we going to kind of get back some of this market share?
Yeah, so the market share primarily loss has been in Gujarat and Maharashtra, and this is where the four-wheel drive compact tractors go. So if you look at less than 30 HP, there are two segments. One is the utility tractor segment, and the other one is the four-wheel drive compact tractor. So the growth has happened only in the utility tractor segment, and in the four-wheel drive tractor segment, there hasn't been much growth. However, we are taking steps in terms of launching more products in that segment. Last year, we took initial steps. During the second half of last year, we launched the 30 HP. Now, compact tractor, we would be following that up with more launches with the same platform this year. We would also be launching new platform of a series called EGT, which is a ergonomically much advanced tractor that will be launched in this year. So we have multiple product launches planned in this segment, with which we hope to gain back the market share.
So, sir, these launches, will they be, now prior to this key season that we are going to see in the next 3-4 months, or is it going to be slightly later?
Yes, these launches will happen in the next 4 to 6 months.
Okay, 4 to 6 months. So after the June-July period, basically.
Yeah, when the market in Maharashtra, which is mainly for the grape crop, during the June-July season, at that point we should be able to hit the market.
Okay, you'll be able to hit it. Okay, understood. And second question is on pricing. So I think last quarter you had mentioned that in fourth quarter we will take some price hikes on both the tillers and tractors segment. Could you give some sense on how much price hikes you have taken in this fourth quarter, sir?
Yeah, we have taken a price rise in quarter 4 in February. So now the other companies, as you already know, have gone in for a price rise in April. So we should be looking at further price rise in this quarter as well, because the commodity prices have gone up further.
So what would be the quantum of the hike we took in February for tillers and tractors, if you can give?
Yeah, the February price rise is in the tune of about 1.5%, and in going forward, we are looking at about 2 to 3% price rise.
This will be for both the segments, sir, tractors and tillers.
Mainly in tractor segment, power tiller space, we have very little room for further price rise.
Okay. So there, as raw material costs go up, we are not able to still pass through the pricing there.
We will have to manage our bottom line through better cost efficiencies and the other cost management measures that we are working on, which has yielded us results last year also, as you can see from.
Right. Understood. And just lastly, could you give us the number of tillers within this total number that you have mentioned? How many were the B2B tillers that we have sold within these, sir?
B2B is about 1,800.
For the year as a whole?
For the year as a whole, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Right, sir. Thank you so much, guys. I'll get back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Harsh. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, hi sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So my question was on the margin side. So we've seen a little bit of a pressure on the gross margin. So would you let us know what kind of a cost impact did we have in this quarter, and what kind of a cost impact are we expecting going ahead?
Yeah, so right now there is unprecedented inflation, so which we should be able to look at a price rise of 2 to 3%, as I just said. So that is for now, and volatility continues. So to predict what will happen in the future is difficult. So we will be looking at it on a quarter-to-quarter basis.
Okay. Okay. Got it, sir. And any capex kind of capex are we looking at for this year, sir?
Yes, we are looking at the capex of about 60 crores.
60 crore in FY23.
FY23, yes.
And this will be towards new capacities or just maintenance capex, or this is including maintenance capex?
Mostly new product development.
New product development. Okay, sir. Okay. That's
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Devanshu Sampath from Yes Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. Good afternoon. A few questions. So can you please let me know what is the increase for the non-current investments from 77 crores to 106 crores?
What is the nature of investment you are asking?
No. I mean, yeah, why is there a roughly 30 crore increase in non-current investments in this year?
Did you understand the question? I didn't.
The non-current investments, sir.
Non-current investments.
So these are basically into equity and equity-linked mutual fund scheme.
Okay. So what is the investment in the US company currently? Total?
That is about 23 crores in total.
23 crores so far. Okay. So I'm just coming on if you can comment on the working capital, right? I mean, last year you mentioned that, we have been taking conscious efforts to do so, and this year there seems to be a lot of work done on the debtor side as well. So can you explain a bit on what has happened and whether this number is something that's sustainable?
Yeah, of course. See, as I have shared with you earlier, we have working on POC-based supply chain methodology. So that is yielding as a result where we have been able to manage inventory very well. So inventory, as you know, is at about 43 days. And the receivables also has considerably come down. The receivables is at about 29 days. And all this has been systematically done, process-driven. Very clear methodologies are in place. So hence, I think it is very much sustainable.
So you think tightening of this receivable days can possibly have an impact on volumes as well, since we're being a bit more stricter than what we were earlier?
We are working, as I repeated before, we are working on a pull-based system. So the focus is on retail. The focus is on billing based on consumption. We are not building any extra inventory into the channel. The focus is on ensuring dealer profitability through higher rotations for the dealer, which we believe is the key differentiator for us going forward.
Got it. So coming to your export volumes, can you tell me what the number was for FY22?
FY22 power tiller export was about 288 and tractor export is about 1400.
1400. Okay. And FY23 is a year when your export business is supposed to grow considerably because of one of the tie-ups. So would you say that your statement is still correct, or are there any delays in the plans? And if so, if you can provide some guidance in terms of the numbers.
No, the tie-up is with Zetor is not only for exports, so there is no delay in that product. In that, the international business growth plan is continuing as I have said before.
So, what is your internal forecast for export volumes this year? If you can give some guidance.
I don't have a guidance number on that because, as you know, things are very volatile today. But definitely, you can expect growth this year as well.
Okay. So, and just last question for now. So, sir, we are generating about 100 crores of free cash flow per year, right? And our cash in investments is about 350 crores odd. So, cash is definitely piling up, and it's roughly forming about 40% of the balance sheet now. and I'm not including the non-current investments over here also. So, and plus we also, there will be a land sale discussion that is happening, so there will be some windfall chunk that will come in as well. So can you elaborate a bit on what is your the capital allocation policy now? And the promoters also did add to their holding a little bit in December last year. So clearly there is some sort of value that the promoters are seeing. So are we considering a buyback, or is that a part of the plan?
We are looking at new opportunities for growth. Currently, there is no plan for any buyback, but definitely we are looking at faster growth and hence new opportunities. Like I have said before, we are looking at inorganic as well as organic growth opportunities where the capital will be utilized.
Sure. Okay, that's it from my side. Thank you and wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Kaushal Shah from Dhanki Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for the opportunity. Sir, you shared the volume numbers for fourth quarter. If you can share the revenue breakup also between tillers, tractors, and the other segments.
Yeah, just give me a second for the revenue figures. For the tiller segment, the revenue for Q4 is 134 crores. And for the tractors, it is about 62 crores.
Okay, and there would be parts or the other segments?
Yeah, the parts business is about 20 crores. And the other businesses all put together is about 19 crores.
Right. So you shared the B2B volumes earlier, and it was 1,800 numbers. At least in the past, there was this possibility that this particular segment can grow because it was servicing dealers who were earlier selling Chinese makers. So any particular reason why this particular segment has not picked up and numbers continue to be very modest?
Yeah, the business depends on certification. So whatever we supply will have to be recertified by government agencies for the other brands to sell. So last year, a lot of time was spent on certification. So we expect that business to grow.
Right. And sir, how many such dealers are we servicing now? I think it was 2.
We have only 2 OEMs that we are servicing now.
Okay. And so directionally, sir, can this number grow? Because I mean, at 1,800 numbers, it is quite a modest number just now. So maybe in the current year, can you look at a very stronger growth in this number, or that is unlikely?
Very high level of OEMs are in there because people who are traders, typically importing 2 containers, 3 containers, they are not working on a structural business. So that I don't think will come back to us. However, these 2 OEMs plus couple of other OEMs we are in talks with. Will the number be very high? I don't think so, but it should be in the tune of about 3,000 to 4,000 numbers.
Right. And so some thoughts on the implements business. We have been doing power weeders, we have been doing rotavators, brush cutters also. So maybe some thoughts on where do you see that particular segment in the current year and maybe over the next, let's say, 2 years?
Yeah, so last year was the first year when we started this business. I'm very happy to say that power weeder, we have registered good growth and we have done over 2,000 power weeders. The brush cutters also we have done good volume. We expect that to grow. We would like to see exponential growth in that, and we are taking actions to grow that exponentially.
Right. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Participants who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor & Company. Please go ahead.
Yeah, namaskar sir, and thank you for this opportunity. Sir, I missed the earlier commentary, so sorry for repetition. Sir, if you could give us some more color on the how the business environment is shaping up for both the power tillers as well as the tractor segment. If I'm correct me there, sir, we were expecting that the tractor segment will be outperforming going forward from the first quarter, depending as per the understanding from the OEMs. So, if you could give us some more color, and what are the current challenges the company and the industry is facing, and how are we going to deal with it, sir?
So the challenges in both the segments are very different. The small farm mechanization space continues to grow. The industry continues to grow in that segment upwards of 20%, 25% CAGR. We also expect to grow the same rate or slightly better. That is what we are aiming at. What we are doing for that is trying to increase our coverage, increase the range of products. We have about 520 dealers now, from about 150 dealers 2 years back. We expect another 200 dealers to be added this year. So that should get us the growth with increased coverage and more number of products in that segment. Coming to the tractor segment, as I have said, we are at about 340 odd dealers currently. Most of the OEMs are at about 900 or 1000 plus dealerships. So we have a long way to go in terms of increasing coverage in the market. Second is there are niche segments that we operate in, which is the compact tractor 4-wheel drive segment, where we will try and strengthen our position this year with launch of multiple new products. Second major aspect is we don't build volumes by stocking at the dealership. We are working on a full base system. So if you see, our retail market share has gone up, while the wholesale figures does not reflect what the industry would generally do when the price increase happens, that is stocking of inventory, which we wouldn't do because we are focused on full base system. We believe that should yield us good results because the focus is on the dealer's profitability. So that is where we are. So slightly different approaches in both the segments, and I hope I have answered your query.
But sir, for the outlook for the sector, what is the feedback from the ground? And we are already the 2 months into this new financial year. So if you could give,
we expect both the industry to grow, both the industry, both the power tiller and the tractor industry to grow. However, it will depend on the monsoon. Prediction is good. The crop prices are better. Improved exports are giving better income to the farmers, especially in the wheat growing state. So I think all of this will augur well. But in the wheat growing state, our presence is much lower. So how much of that will turn to business for us, is comparatively lower with compared to companies which are having a very strong presence in North India. So, however, overall, if you ask me, the industry is looking at positive growth. However, there is a disclaimer, that is the monsoon.
Right, sir. Sir, we did make some investment in the precision equipment, I think that at Mysore, if correct me there also. So what is the contribution from the unit currently, and what are we, I think some niche products were being developed there. So what is the feedback from that segment, and how it is going to contribute in the current year?
Yeah, so in Mysore, we had done some investment for precision components as well as our precision implements for it. So last year we have started the manufacturing of implements. We are yet to really scale up in that segment, which we intend to do this year.
What have been the contributions last year from this segment?
It is very small. It is not very significant.
Okay. And for the current year, are we looking to scale it up to some reasonable levels, or still in the pilot phase?
We should get into the double-digit level in terms of revenues, and that is what we are looking at.
Okay, sir. But double-digit means 10 crore.
Slightly better than that. I don't want to give any guidance figures.
No, I just wanted to understand the base, sir. We are starting
we are starting from zero. So I think whatever number we do in the double digit should be pretty good. So,
right.
But the aim, see, this business is being built for the long term. So I believe that in the short term, you won't find any big impact on the top line. But however, as industry grows, farm mechanization grows in India, which has got huge potential in India, we will be one of the most significant players there.
Okay. Sir, in your 3,000 crore top line roadmap for 5 years, what have you factored in from this unit, from the Mysore unit?
We want to get the implement business to up to at least 100 crores.
Annual turnover of 100 crore. And the margins are definitely significantly in the higher double digits from this segment.
Yeah.
Right. Sir, volume numbers, sir, if you could share in the press release part, I think so, sir, that would be very helpful. Earlier also we have requested that your press release to be slightly elaborative so that the quarterly volume numbers in a cumulative way and also a comparative number year-wise. And when we are coming up with annual results, the annual volume numbers would have been very helpful, sir, in the press release part, sir.
Yeah, I know, but media guys tell us a different story. They want more focus on the financial. They say stick to one, either the financial or the numbers.
You can add both, sir.
We'll see how best we can manage both.
Okay, sir. And sir, coming one more point, sir, if we take this quarter numbers comparison with March, last year, sir, the other income was slightly higher. Not slightly higher, it was 14 crore and this quarter it is 6.5 crore. So what has resulted in the lower other income, sir, for this quarter?
Last year the other income was around 11 to 12 crores. This time the basically the write backs were around 11 to 12 crores. This time the write backs are around to the tune of 5 crores. I think that is from the major head under which the difference has come.
Right, yes. And sir, for this year you have mentioned 60 crore the capex. That is all, sir, into the operational capex only, no capacity enhancement due to that?
No capacity enhancement, very little on some power weeder segment and all that, but mostly into product development.
Okay. And sir, for the utilization, yes ma'am, I'll come in the queue. Definitely, ma'am.
Thank you so much. The next question is from the line of Shashank Kanodia from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. So I just wanted to understand what will be the total industry volumes in the case of power tillers and our market share for FY22?
Power tiller industry, I don't have the exact figure, but we have a 55% market share. Our volume is 31,776. So if you don't mind, you could just calculate that. 55% is our market share. So we will improve market share by 2% this year.
Okay. So domestic still will be roughly 30,000 units, right? Because 1,800 is a contract manufacturing part.
Yeah, right.
So that means the industry size is again a 55,000 kind of a unit market, right?
Yeah, around 55,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So the initial understanding was that 55% market is controlled by us, rest 25% by Concall, and the rest 25% is imported in nature. So that should have come back to us, right? So something like 10,000 units of incremental volumes in terms of contract manufacturing and import substitution was supposed to flow down to us.
I agree. See, the industry is slightly grown last year, but that entire 10,000 has not come back. Like I told the previous gentleman who asked me this question, see, any product that is introduced in the market has to go through certification process. Even if VST is supplying it, it has to go through the certification process. So for both the OEMs, many number of months were spent on certification last year. So this will be the first full year they will get to operate. So we expect the volumes to grow, but not to the same 10,000 level, because I said that 10,000 had a large segment of unorganized players who would be importing 2-3 containers. So that businessman won't come back to this business.
Right. So the segment itself might have shrunk, right? Or people have smartly made a way out and importing power tillers in India?
No, there is no import happening. There is no import happening of power tillers into India because they won't be able to clear customs if they do that. So that is not happening. But a large amount of power weeders are being imported. Power weeders are again some smaller size of power tillers. Anything below 9 HP is called a power weeder. So that large amount of import is happening.
Okay, so you mean to say that power bidders have kind of cannibalized some portion of power tiller market?
Not really, because both are very different segments, and power weeders are very much smaller compared to a power tiller. So these segments are very different. As you can see, even after the imports, the industry has grown slightly, and we expect this year the growth to get stronger.
Okay. And secondly, sir, for the tractor division, you have been guiding industry-leading volumes. So are we happy with the performance for the last fiscal? So do you feel that we have gone ahead of the industry?
We are working on a particular strategy that I I said that is focused on full-base system on retail. So if you look at the retail market share, we have done well. But if you look at the wholesale market share, which is increasing channel inventory, we have not followed the industry in terms of building that inventory. We believe the key differentiation is going to be profitability of dealers in the market. So we are sticking to that principle, and you will see growth happening. If you ask me, are you happy with the growth? Definitely not. I am not happy with any growth that is happening. But then we need to grow faster. So you will see that growth happening, but we will stick to that strategy. You may not see the same moment, if wholesale billing happens in industry, will VST follow the same trend? It may not happen, because we will follow the retail and consumption-based model.
Okay. Sir, lastly, if you can share the absolute rupees crore number for power tiller and tractor sales for the full fiscal year.
Yeah, just give me a second. I just had said that before. Yeah, the power tiller business is about 133.87 crores for quarter 4.
For the full year, sir. We have it for the quarter, for the full year.
Yeah, full year is 458.7 crores for power tiller, and tractor is 294.23 crores.
Okay. And so what kind of growth projection should we work for next fiscal as in FY23?
This year I am not giving any guidance simply because the situation is very volatile.
Okay, but we feel that we can achieve a target of 3,000 crores of sales by 2025. We feel
the growth journey continues. The growth journey continues. All the plans are in place to move towards that objective, because the key objective for VST Tillers Tractors Limited was to move out of stagnancy. I think in the last 3 years, what we have achieved is move out of stagnancy and go into the growth momentum. And so I think that will continue. Now, because of the volatility of the situation, commodity, supply disruption, and still we are yet to see the monsoon completely playing out. So we don't know for sure what to expect. However, our plans are in place to chase down that vision. And like I said, the primary purpose of getting into growth momentum has been achieved, and you will see growth happening at VST Tillers.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sanya Agarwal from SBI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Sir, just continuing on the last question. So, for a target of 3,000 crore by 2025, what will drive these numbers? So, if you can just throw some more light on this. Thank you.
See, like I have shared with you before, we have done multiple projects for that. Some of those projects are going live this year. One is the VST Zitor joint venture, which will go live this year. Multiple products are being launched. We are working globally to expand our presence both in Europe, Africa, and this year into Latin America. So this should give us growth. We are working on range of products both in the small farm mechanization space and also the tractor space. In the tractor space, both in the compact tractor, competing with all the international players that is present in India. Also, we are launching these new products internationally, so that should give us growth. Second big thing is the higher HP segment, in which we will be making a larger presence this year with the launch of VST Zitor products. So all these put together, we are on a growth path. We have started working on multiple verticals, which I have shared with you before. One of them being the implements vertical, which I said is insignificant today, but we believe in the long term it will grow and it will be significant numbers. We are looking at, working with technology partners to launch new products. We have invested into the electric growth story. So all these put together should be, we intend to get to the milestone that we have created for 2025.
Okay.
We will also be looking at inorganic growth for that.
Okay. Sir, on electric side, so I mean, how fast you feel that electric or maybe electric tractor or electric implements or electric units will get penetrated in the agriculture sector? So if you can throw some light on that also.
Yeah, it will take some time. It will not be before 2027, 2028 before significant volumes in thousands will start happening in India, especially in the compact tractor space. I think we will be ready by then, more than ready by then, for the entry into electric tractor space.
Okay. Thank you, sir, and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Noel Vaz from Asian Market Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to get some clarity on the certification process that you described. Could you exactly tell me what is involved with it and how long does the process normally take? Yeah, that is all.
Certification of power tillers is done in South India called institute called SRFM TTA, which is Southern Region Farm Machinery and Tractor Testing Institute. So typically it takes anywhere between 3 to 6 months to get a complete test report from this institute. And in the case of tractors, it happens in Budni. That takes anywhere between 8 months to 16 months.
Okay, I see. But what exactly what is the criterion on which the certification is done? I just want to know. I'm just curious.
There is a whole list of test procedures. We have to meet the norms for the engines. We have to meet the norms for transmission, sound levels, braking efficiency, reliability. So there is a whole host of testing standards that will be tested. There will be lab tests and also field tests. So it's a very elaborate procedure.
Okay. Thanks. That's all from myself.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rahul Jain from Credence Wealth. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, with regards to the higher HP tractor segment, so what kind of numbers we have ended this year with, and how do we look at the numbers going ahead? And you also mentioned about Zetor coming in this year. So that is expected in somewhere around Q2 or Q3 of this year?
Yes, Q3 of this year. This last financial year, the growth has remained flat. This year is where we are looking at new product launches. So we have done about 900 numbers last year, which is almost similar to the previous year. However, with the growth of dealerships happening in the northern market, we didn't want to grow much in the last year in the northern markets because the products were not ready. So UP, MP, Rajasthan and all the other markets which are mainly higher horsepower markets, we will be growing the dealership network rapidly this year. And with that, we will be launching the product from VST Zetor stable by Q3.
So out of this dealer network, which we have taken up to almost 500 plus, typically there will be some dealers or what will be the number of dealers in this northern market, the incremental addition which has been done in
500
last 12 months?
Is for the power tiller segment. The tractor is at about 340. In the northern market, it will be 40 to 50 dealers only at the moment.
And next 12 months, what kind of addition do we foresee?
We are looking at adding at least 100 dealers in the north.
Okay. And typically, sir, how has been the response till now with this 40, 50 dealers with regards to our product acceptance and with regards to, the market presence, the competitiveness over there, with regards to the kind of dealership margins we are offering to the dealers? How has been the initial response?
Yeah, it has been reasonably good, I would say, because almost all the dealers have been with us almost 1.5 years now, and they are waiting for new products from us. They are also looking at the VSTs, Zitor products to come in and help the growth of these dealers.
Okay. And is there some ballpark number, like generally, typically a single dealer will give you X amount of tractor sales in a year? Do you work with that? Or
see, we work on the ROI of dealers, and we don't have a particular number to give you right away.
I'm asking so because I think within that 1,000 crores top line expected for tractors, out of the 3,000 crores, we had spoken earlier that a good chunk of about 500-600 crores can be done from higher HP tractors, which is why I was trying to go into more details with regards to this segment.
The entire tractor business will be around close to 1,000 crores. This is what I have shared with you. I have not looked at a segmental, revenue. At least I have not shared those numbers. We are looking at tractors to be around 1,000 crores.
Acha. Okay. And just to get a sense, sir, in some of the calls recently, not just tractor segment, but other segments which are catering to the rural India or agri-dependent products kind of they have, the commentary coming from some of these companies has been that rural seems to be picking up because of increase in MSP prices and better Rabi crop. So I do understand rainfall is still away and it's a difficult call to take. But do you, compared to last year, do we see some better activity on the ground in terms of rural optics, the rural India?
Yeah, I definitely feel that this year looks positive at the moment. See, but there are multiple factors, especially on the commodity front. If the prices keep rising the way it is priced, and if we have to pass on to consumers, I think it will have a detrimental effect on the demand.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for this.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nitin Dharmawat from Aurum Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you. I wanted to know about this real estate parcel. Last year you mentioned in our Concall that beyond 1 or 2 years you will consider it. So what is the status now? Are we considering anything on that?
Yeah, you're right. We will definitely consider it. I think as any progress is made on that, we will definitely let you know. Right now, there is nothing to share on that front.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sushetal from Samatva Investments. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. I had 2 questions. The first one is, sir, how has been your experience with segments in sector the last 1 year? What were your key learnings and how do we see it going forward? And also, when you said these dealers with regards to the total tractors or tillers, would these all dealers be selling the same segments products as well?
Yeah, so we have dealers separately for the small farm mechanization segment, and we have dealers separately for the tractor segment. So that is an action that we took 2.5, 3 years back, that we will have separate dealers. So for the tractors, we have around 340 dealers now, and for the small farm mechanization, we have about 520 dealers now, which is continuing to expand. So this next 2 to 3 years, this dealership network will continue to expand. We will have about 800 to 900 tractor dealers, and we would like to have about 1,000 dealers for the small farm mechanization segment. So it will continue to expand.
Okay. And how has your experience been in the last 1 year, sir? And what are the things your key learnings would be, and how would you say you would change your strategy in the next 2 years?
Yeah, if you look at the last 1 year, see, if you look at FY20, we grew at about 40% plus. Last year, our revenue growth has been 12%. So we are at about 25-26% CAGR. We need to get to about 40-45% CAGR to be closer to the 3,000 crore plus an inorganic, which will help us to get to that 3,000 crore. So the key focus of the company today is to how to accelerate faster in terms of execution, how to accelerate faster in terms of revenue growth. The key verticals have already set up. Now the key is execution, and the entire focus of the company is on faster execution.
Got it. Got it. And sir, can you throw any light on the tillers industry? Like, we are seeing the new products being launched, like I think Code by Swaraj. So can you let us know what's happening on the ground? And does company have any plan to launch any product to take on these such specific products?
I don't have any comments on the competition products, but I can tell you we have studied it closely. We have to be innovative. Last year we were the most among the most innovative companies in India. CII awarded us. In fact, we had the 9th position among the innovative companies. So definitely VST will continue to innovate. We will provide solutions to small and marginal farmers. Definitely this is one area you will find a lot of innovation coming from our end in the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, sir. Great. Yeah. Thank you for your opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shashank Kanodia from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, in one of the previous interactions, you used to mention that nowadays farmers are not waiting for subsidy release for going for power tiller purchase. So what will be the proportion of sales coming from direct retail sales for us?
Power tiller, yes, you're right. They don't wait for subsidy to be announced, but it is not as if they don't want subsidies. Every single customer applies for subsidy. But since it is direct benefit transfer, they don't wait for the subsidy to be announced anymore. They go ahead when the need is there, and then they apply for subsidy. Many of them get it, many of them don't get it.
Right. So what proportion of that sales is actually, so what I'm trying to drive is there any proportion of sales which is not subsidy linked for us? The power
The subsidy dependency of this business is, I think, something behind us. Except for some, tribal, subsidies which come in Northeast, where the subsidy is as high as 90%. But I think the quantum is going down, so the industry cannot depend on those subsidies anymore.
Okay. So secondly, just wanted to get a sense. Now, this import restriction, post this import restriction ban, the total tiller volumes domestically have remained more or less constant, right? The 55,000 odd units level. And we have also maintained some kind of a same leadership in terms of 50 to 55% kind of a market share. So have our competition...
In fact, the power tiller industry had gone down. Now it is back up at 55. Now I think in the next 5 years you will find growth happening. We are expecting by around 2030, that is around 7 to 8 years, we should be able to get to about 100,000 power tiller industry. While I say that, then there is another segment that is growing exponentially at the rate of 25-30%, which is the power weeder industry, which is less than 9 HP, 9 HP below, which is 8 horsepower, 6 horsepower, 5 horsepower. There the growth is at about 25 to 30% CAGR. So that is growing exponentially. So fundamentally the small farm mechanization as a whole is growing exponentially.
So sir, if something like 10,000 units of import is restricted, so the industry volume should have gone down, market share improved drastically, right? You mentioned that this is not the case.
No, see, market share I am not calculating based on what I am supplying to OEMs. I am looking at the brand market share, which is 55%. If I add the OEM sale and look at manufacturing market share, our share will be close to 57-58%.
True, but sir, we are supposed to go in excess of 60-70% kind of a thing, right? Because again, there were some limitations with Camco going big on to this segment. So
we were at 60-65% market share until about February. Until February. March, there has been some excess billing by competitors. So that is something which we are not very sure about.
Okay. Yes, sir, we have just two people operating in this industry, right? So we have VST dealers and tractors and there is Camco. Is that understanding correct?
VST, there is Camco, there is Kirloskar, there is Greaves, there is Rajti, there are George Majo, there are at least 7 or 8 organized players in this.
But sir, Kirloskar and Greaves were largely who were importing and selling in, right? So we were supposed to do contract manufacturing.
Kirloskar is manufacturing, Greaves is also invested in the manufacturing.
Okay. And were they importing in the initial phase and then gone for manufacturing because of import restriction? Is this the case?
Kirloskar has always been, my understanding is Kirloskar has always been manufacturing. Greaves, I think they were importing something. I'm not too sure about it.
Okay. So what kind of contract manufacturing volumes we are supposed to do this year? Any ballpark guidance from your
It's around roughly, let's say around 3,000 numbers.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Yogansh Jiswani from Mittal Analytics. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So just one question on the dealer network for our tractors and tillers. What were these numbers a couple of years back, if you could share?
The tiller number of dealers were about 150, 175, and tractors were around 120, 130. I'm talking about numbers couple of years back.
That this would be FY18-19 numbers or even before that?
It will be, I think, FY19 figures, FY19, FY20 figures, yeah.
Okay. And sir, so the plan that we have to increase tractor dealers from 340 to 800 and similarly doubling the tillers. So what is the timeline that you are keeping in mind for the execution of the same?
By FY25, we want to do that.
Okay. And sir, in terms of the OEM contracts that we are looking and discussing, is there any new order win or anything in pipeline that you would like to share? And sorry if I missed it in the open commentary.
No, we don't have any new orders in pipeline. This is a continuous supply agreement with this OEM. So those agreements are continuing.
Okay. And do we have any further potential from the domestic market where we see somebody who was importing is now still looking for manufacturing, or there is no potential opportunity also?
We are looking at a couple of players, but nothing is concluded yet.
Got it. Thank you, sir. I'll get back.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Devanshu Sampat from Yes Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the follow-up. So just 2 more questions. So any update on the power feeder tie-up with Hubert? Any discussions have gone forward?
Yes, that tie-up continues. Unfortunately, the physical travel is yet to happen. So there is no other news to share on that front.
So the Vedas that we are selling right now, are we basically just trading in them?
Right now we are trading in them, but we intend to get into manufacturing this year.
Okay. Can you give a sense on what the volumes are?
Last year we have done 2100 Vedas. This year we should be able to double it.
Okay. And can you talk a bit about the agri pumps that we've launched? Just to tie up, what are the plans here, in terms of market size opportunities, and maybe if the working capital scenario is different from this, if you can just touch up a bit on this.
Yeah. So this is the distribution vertical that we have launched. So the idea is to distribute and build a funnel into rural India. We already have a retailer network of about 1,500 to 2,000 retailers. We want to build on it. The immediate target is to build about 5,000 retailer network in the next 2 years and start with electric pumps. We will be looking at other opportunities as well in terms of rural distribution.
Okay. So we've done this through a tie-up with someone right now, or what is the?
We are not manufacturing. We have tie-ups with manufacturers.
Okay. And So what kind of numbers are we talking about over here, sir? If we can look at from, or at least internally, what is the number?
So it is not, right, like I said, right now the vertical is being set up. The launch has happened only in 2 states, which is UP and Bihar. And we want to focus on that. There is a particular reason why we want to get there, because in the north, the VST brand is not significantly present. We want to penetrate into each household with the VST brand name. So we are focused on that front. And the focus is on digital distribution. From day one, the distribution is managed completely digitally, with the last mile person also using the mobile network to manage the sale. So that has been the focus, and that focus continues. I mean, as it grows, I will keep reporting on that.
Sure, sir. And if you're talking about brand building and everything, so are we looking at any big spends over here, or maybe getting an ambassador or something like that?
We have started spending on advertising and brand promotion. Last year, we significantly, brought change in the approach towards advertising and spend. The brand has been, the new look of the brand, probably you're aware. Yes. We have brought the new look of the brand. The advertising in TV commercial started last year. We will be building further on it, and we will be, spending more money digitally in terms of advertising and sales.
Got it, sir. Thank you again. All the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mr. Saket Kapoor from Kapoor & Company. I would request Mr. Kapoor to please limit your question to 2 as per the time constraints.
Yes, ma'am. Only one question.
Thank you.
For the raw material mix, sir, if you could explain what are the key components of it, and any forward booking or forward contracts we undertake at the time of receiving orders. How does we secure our raw materials, or is it totally spot?
We have some agreements with steel mills. That is one thing, but the last 1.5 to 2 years, the contracts have not really played out because the volatility has been very high. The key areas has been casting, sheet metal, forging, and then of course proprietary items. So the volatility has been pretty high. If you see from Q4 of last year to this year, casting, grey cast iron itself has increased by about 14%. Pig iron, if you see, is at about 20%. Sheet metal is at about 12%. Forgings are as high as 42%. So, and if you look at other metals, aluminium 58%, copper 21%. So the volatility has been very high, and it's been moving on a month-on-month basis. So wherever we have seen that tie-ups and steel mill level tie-ups are there, even in those cases we have faced difficulty because the material was not available. So it's a very volatile situation to be, kind of commenting on that.
And out of this revenue mix for the total year, sir, how much has been from the spares business we have done for this year? The spare part
business I had shared earlier, the revenue is at, just give me a second, 92 crores for the year.
And what kind of growth are we expecting going forward, depending upon the base? Now the base is increased.
Yeah, we have grown last year also at about 12 to 13%. So we will continue with that growth in that segment.
Right.
For parts and oil alone.
Right. And so for this first month numbers for the tractor and the trailer, the tractor numbers were muted. What factors did played out for the April 22 tractor numbers lower than April 21?
See, like I said, in the domestic market, we follow a pull-based system on consumption-based billing. So we don't push inventory to the dealers based on price increases or any other methodology. We are focused on profitability of the dealer, because one of the gentlemen asked me, how are you ensuring profitability? What we see in the tractor industry is most of the dealers lose money on inventory carrying costs, which we are not incurring for our dealers. That is one of the reasons why most of the dealers are, with us even in the northern market, where we have appointed them 1 year, 1.5 years back. So we will continue to focus on the dealers' profitability, and we believe that in the long run, that will be the differentiating factor.
Okay. ठीक है, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and all the best, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as this was the last question for today, I would now like to hand the conference over to over to the management for closing comments.
Yeah, thank you very much from all of us at VST for your participation. We look forward to this quarter as well and this financial year. Thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thanks all the parties.
On behalf of Batliwala and Karani Securities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.